From AccuWeather.com, this is AccuWeather Daily, a brief host-read article. It's weather news in a nutshell. Spring-like weather has arrived for most of us, and while seeing things green up and the flowers popping out, it does mean that allergy season is about to bloom as well. Early indications say it could be a bad year for millions from the mid-Atlantic all the way to the Pacific Northwest. Pollen from trees, grass, and ragweed are the primary allergens across the country, each peaking at different times throughout the year. So here's a quick peek at what you could expect this year. Let's start with tree pollen. It's the first allergen to fill the spring air, and it's already on the rise across the southern U.S. Trees begin to grow, and they produce pollen after ground temperatures rise to 40 to 45 degrees following the winter months. The worst of the tree pollen is expected from part of the Gulf Coast across the Central Plains and into the northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest. AccuWeather senior meteorologist and allergy expert Alan Reppert says that grass pollen gets going about the time that tree pollen starts to wane and can begin along the Gulf Coast as soon as April when grass starts to grow. It can last through the summer and into the early fall before the sun angle starts to decrease low enough or a frost occurs. This year, the Northeast and Pacific Northwest face the worst of the grass-related allergens, especially in June and July amid a warm and wet start to summer. Dry weather during the beginning and middle parts of the summer season will help to limit grass pollen across the Southeast, including Florida, Georgia, Alabama, and South Carolina. Ragweed tends to cause a lot of issues for folks, and a dual peak is possible this year across the Tennessee Valley due to a surge in moisture late in the summer, making it one of the worst regions for people with ragweed allergies. It may also be an extended year for ragweed in the coastal Carolinas and around the southern plains and part of the Gulf Coast due to an uptick in tropical moisture. The Northwest may be a hotspot for tree and grass pollen this year, but there will be some relief when it comes to ragweed. Lower ragweed pollen levels are also expected across most of the Rockies and the northern plains. While encountering pollen is inevitable, especially during peak allergy seasons, there are several strategies that could help reduce the severity of symptoms for allergy sufferers, such as avoid early mornings because pollen levels are highest just after sunrise, so try to stay indoors if you can during the early morning to minimize exposure. Embrace the rain because rain washes out pollen from the air, making the time after the long rain or heavy downpour a great time to enjoy the outdoors with lower pollen counts. Keep your home a sanctuary, like keeping your windows closed and regularly change air filters in your home to maintain clean, pollen-free air throughout the year. And change your clothes because spending time outside, your clothes pick up your allergens, so if you change your clothes, you can prevent spreading those allergens indoors. And you can check the allergy forecast by visiting AccuWeather.com to see the breakdown for the allergies in your area. Today is the vernal equinox in the Northern Hemisphere, the official start of astronomical spring, and a day that is sometimes associated with the unusual tradition of balancing an egg on its end. Now, according to folklore, you can only balance an egg upright on 2 days out of the entire year, once on the day of the March equinox and a second time on the September equinox. Well, the belief relies on the gravitational pull of the sun, as on the day of the equinox appears directly over the planet's equator. However, the real trick lies in a mixture of patience, concentration, and finding a level surface. With the right combination of those three factors, anyone can balance an egg on its end on any day of the year. Similar myths have arisen in the age of social media, with people claiming the equinox is the only time you can balance other objects, including the ability to have a broom stand upright unassisted. But similar to the egg, the feat can be accomplished on any day with the right broom and a level floor. One thing that is almost perfectly balanced only on the equinox is the length of day versus the duration of night. Equinox is derived from Latin, which, when translated, means equal night. At the precise moment of the equinox, which takes place on Thursday at 5:01 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, the sun's most direct rays are pointed at the equator. The result is a day featuring around 12 hours of daylight, followed by a night lasting about 12 hours everywhere around the globe. Following the vernal equinox, the sun's rays become more focused on the northern hemisphere, with days growing longer and longer leading up to the June solstice. Meanwhile, nights become longer than days across the southern hemisphere as areas south of the equator experience the start of autumn. That's all for now. You can find more stories and regional forecasts at AccuWeather.com, and for your local forecast at your fingertips, download the AccuWeather app. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe. I'll be back tomorrow with more from AccuWeather.